canoe might not have been around very long, but in the short time it's been here, it's rapidly become one of British canoeing's most successful disciplines. On the water, it looks like there's very little difference, if any, between Olympic and Paralympic canoeists. And that's because it's all about what's going on inside the boat. I've come to the home of British para canoeing to meet Rio bronze medalist Nick Beighton. So Nick, I'm not a sprint kayaker, but I have been in sprint kayaker boats, and it always amazes me how simple they are. They don't seem to have a lot inside them. Can you talk to me a bit about your boat?
Yeah, so effectively the boats are very similar to our Olympic counterparts. They're slightly wider just to make them slightly more stable because, you know, as an adaptive paddler we're inherently a little bit more wobbly than those guys. But ultimately it's the same boat. For a normal paddler it would have a seat and a foot plate. For us we'd have an adaptation in there which would sort of replicate that connection to the boat that a normal paddler would have.
And leg drive's a big thing in sprint paddling. And obviously for yourself, you don't have that same connection in the boat. So talk to me a bit about how you achieve that.
You know, because of the obvious and having no legs, I've not got a large part of that connection to the boat, which is how you sort of apply power and force to the boat, well, to the blade and to move the boat. So for us, it's all about how do you create that connection? How do I fix myself to the boat so that when the blade goes into the water, I'm moving the boat past that blade? So for us, we use an adaptation. That's why it's sometimes referred to as an adaptive sport, not because I adapt myself in any way, because the equipment is adapted to allow us to paddle in is sort of a similar way as possible to an able-bodied paddler. So for me, it would be just to place a carbon fibre mould of me effectively into the boat, which is then my connection or my footprint on the boat, which allows me then to move it along. Adaptation wise, I mean, how do you go about creating that? Bit hit and miss really. You first get in the boat and it's just a case of suck it and see, you know, have a look and just see what your body shape is, get a load of foam and black nasty tape and roll mat and just pack it in and just see what works. And you know, once you've found a sort of a system that works for you as a paddler, and that's the point, I guess, is that every paddler's individual. Every sort of Paralympic paddler, disabled paddler's got their unique disability, so you need to be very specific to that individual. So once you've created this sort of idea of a mould, you take it away and you come up with some high-tech sort of carbon fibre mould with straps and bells and whistles on it that we try and keep close to our chest and not let the world see, because it's cutting edge of what can be done, and that's you effectively, that's your seat and your adaptation. And the other point is that sprint kayaks generally have a rudder, so the paddlers use that to help them tweak a line. I'm assuming you don't use a rudder? No, we don't, and it's something we've looked at, and there's you know, in the world of adaptive paddling, there's all kinds of weird and wonderful contraptions and wires and people using their mouth to try and steer the boat, and for us that it just doesn't look right, and it's almost one of those things that if you can cope without, it means you've probably got better boat skills. You become a better paddler because of it. You know, you use a bit more subtlety in the boat, you know, of edging the boat and just how the path of the blade to control the direction of the boat. So for us, it's not something we do. We've got a rudder lock. It's just tied off, locked straight. So I know that the boat's going to go straight, and then if the wind's on it, it's perhaps going to come away, and I'll just have to alter what I do subtly to correct it.